Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to give you the data straight away. The answer is that the government makes about 74 cents per litre from the petrol pump without doing any of the work, whereas the private companies, the petrol stations, make a net profit of between 2 to 5 cents per litre. So it's fair to assume that the government makes about 20 times the net profit from the fuel that you put in your car at the petrol station without the government having to do any of the work itself, essentially. And I'm going to show you where I get this data from, because over the next, the coming days, weeks, months, you're going to be hearing about how the greedy corporations are price gouging you. There's fuel price gouging. How dare these corporations make a profit? And of course, I'm getting this data from the Australian Communist Consumer Commission. We've got to have the government out there keeping a close eye on petrol market amid the Middle East conflict. This came out today, 6th of March, and according to the government, the ACCC, retail margins on petrol are about 17.9 cents a litre, 16.3, which I believe is that was calendar year 2025. And so I've just rounded it and taken 17 cents. If you want to say it's half a cent less, okay, fair enough, say that. But this is coming from the government itself, right? So I don't understand how when the government, so firstly, just from the petrol alone, there's a 52.6 cent fuel excise tax per litre, and then the government also adds GST to that for that 70.8 cent figure. But then, of course, these petrol stations, they have to pay corporate taxes. If they make a profit, they have to pay payroll taxes on their staff. They pay land taxes, council rates. There's some GST. They need electricity to run the petrol station, so of course there's GST to be paid on that. So I've done my research and based it on the government's numbers, and I estimate the government makes about 74 cents per litre if petrol prices are $2. So for this calculation, I've assumed petrol's about $2 a litre. I understand it's become a little bit more expensive in some parts of the country, which means the government would be making even more. And there's some parts where it's still less, and maybe the conflict dies down and the price comes back under $2. So I've assumed $2 a litre. But how can we say that the private corporation is the one that is price gouging us when they make 2 to 5 cents per litre net profit? Yes, they mark it up by 17 cents, but they have to mark it up. They have to pay staff. They have costs to pay. So just keep these numbers in mind, because you're going to hear a lot of stuff, particularly from politicians, about the greedy corporations. They're price gouging you. They're making all these windfall profits, profiteering off the war. It's the government that's profiteering, and the government has been making this profit margin regardless of war. They've been doing it for a very long time. And just be aware of these numbers and share with your friends and family. Cheers.